we had Na Piarsaigh against Croagh Kilfinny in the intermediate final. Na Piarsaigh ran out winners in the end, 119-14. Probably their start was enough. It kind of kept them going for the game. Croagh did level after about 40 minutes, probably expended so much energy in getting back level. Then the Piarsaigh pulled away, and they were able to bring on substitutes as well, time over. They had a couple of All-Ireland winners as well, which helps. And the worrying thing for all clubs is the Piarsaigh will be operating at Premier Intermediate and Senior next year. And they've good players coming through as well that haven't really featured. Unfortunately for Croagh Kilfinny, it's 2 final losses in a row, but the Piarsaigh juggernaut rolls on.
It does, and I suppose a sub-paragraph to the chapter, Jack, of course, and we must mention it, was the Piarsaigh goalkeeper, whose career was cruelly, at intercounty career was cruelly, and seeing a club career was cruelly cut short 2 or 3 years ago. I'm talking about Shane Dowling. The resilience he has shown to go to put himself and drive himself through that barrier and come back and play such a critical part in his club, winning what is a major county championship.
Yeah,
absolutely. And not only were he kept the clean sheet in the final, of course, but not only were his heroics in goal called upon during the year, but you will recall the last minute free that he buried, I think was in the first round against Fiona.
First round against Fiona,
yeah. That turned a likely defeat into victory. And probably, Jack, was probably the catalyst for the drive that drove Na Piarsaigh to where it eventually ended. There could be no question about it. The 2 best teams in the Intermediate Championship were in the final. The statistics will bear that out. They both topped their groups with 100% records. They both won their respective semi-finals. Now, Na Piarsaigh were put to the pin of their collar by Granagh Ballingarry. And of course, you will recall, Jack, that when we were previewing these games, we were talking about the potential of Granagh Ballingarry in that particular as being something of dark horses, and that will tell you how near they were. It's a very, very disappointing. I can only imagine how Croagh Kilfinny are feeling at the moment. I experienced it, Jack, as a young man when I was chairman of my club here in Glenroe. We lost 3 county finals in a row, 75, 76 and 77 intermediate championships to Fedamore, Mungret and Drummond and Clacka. And I tell you, it's not a nice place to be.
No,
but
it isn't.
The start that Na Piarsaigh got was absolutely crucial. Now, I think the shooting of Croagh Kilfinny in the early exchanges was wayward and probably cost them, but a fair dues to them, they just got over that and they got back and they leveled the game. And they were really, really in the hunt until James Daly came in and got that goal. And in tight situations like that, we have seen a goal, Jack. It can close the door very firmly, in favor of firmly against the team that's trying to catch up. I feel so sorry. As I say, I can empathise with Croagh Kilfinny. There's very little words that you or I can say that will console him at this stage. I know the concluding stages, and it has to be mentioned, of the championship wasn't ideal insofar as that, we had a protracted wait for the county final, which didn't help anybody. I don't know what the circumstances of it were, but it was far from ideal. But heartiest congratulations to Na Piarsaigh. It's a phenomenal performance, Jack, to have 2 teams competing in the 2 primary competitions in the championship next year in senior hurling and in Premier Intermediate hurling. It's huge credit to him, Jack.
Yeah, it's huge credit, but as I said, it's kind of frightening for the other teams. But it's true, sheer grit, determination. I suppose they're putting in the time and effort in the Piarsaigh. You see so many of the senior boys giving back and training underage, and they obviously had that 7 in a row at under 21s. A lot of those lads are still around, still in their prime, still in their peak, and the likes then of Shane Dowling through injury, but the likes of Alan Dempsey, Pat Gleeson, these lads aren't just packing it in, they're going down, giving it as good as they had with the seniors, with intermediate.
James O'Brien,
James O'Brien, Dave Breen was another one, that played throughout the year. So, they're winning for a reason. It's not just down to population. That'll help, but you have to put in the work.
You also throw in the other end of the spectrum. Vince Harrington is just out of minor ranks. JJ Carey's just after helping Anscombe Reach to win a first ever Croagh Cup, so there's good mixture in the team,
There is, and Shane Dowling references this team is for the future in the Piarsaigh and for that senior team, but while they're winning they're going to be needed from intermediate level. We've seen how great of competition it is, but they're there through merit. Huge, I suppose, commiserations to Croagh Kilfinny losing again, but the day belonged to the Piarsaigh, and they'll give it as good as they get in the Premier Intermediate ranks.
Absolutely, Jack. They are going to be a tough nut to crack in the Premier Intermediate. They're like, for the reasons you've just mentioned, and the players you've just mentioned, the Shane Dowlings, the Alan Dempseys, the James O'Briens, the Pat Gleeson, the Niall Buckleys of this world, they're all accustomed to playing hurling at a higher level. So there'll be very, very little settling in process for them at the higher level.
No, they'll be ready to hit the ground running. There's no doubt about that.